All right, good morning. Happy Friday to everybody. We made it to the weekend, and we also have made it to a little bit more of an active part of our forecast. Now, for today, mainly it's just going to be hot, like really hot, lower triple digits for the Austin area today. But then a storm chance begins Friday late afternoon, Friday evening. We'll have to watch that for some of our high school football games. And then over the weekend, we'll continue to get some rain chances, especially for Saturday and Sunday, then hit or miss rain on Labor Day. And eventually, I think we're going to get at least some slightly cooler weather to move in. All right, so before we get to cooler weather, look at the numbers today. The model blend has 100 for Austin. We hit 102 yesterday. I have 102 in my forecast again today. And honestly, if I had to change it, I think I would change it higher rather than lower. So it's going to be upper 90s, lower triple digits across the area today. But as I mentioned, the front itself is not going to get down to central Texas today, but it's going to be close enough to us to the north that it sparks some storms, and then the outflow from those storms comes into our area, and that gives us a chance for rain. So here's our severe weather outlook. There's a level 1 over parts of the Panhandle, also a level 1 over southeast Texas. For us, just the general thunderstorm risk, but I think I can't completely rule out one or two strong storms. We probably won't have like a severe thunderstorm warning today, but when it's hot like this, it's possible storms could put down some wind. So here's the model data off the HRRR model. The time's right here. So as we go through the first half of the day, this is noon, completely dry. But as we get into, here's 3, 4, 5, you can see these showers and storms start to develop. So it's about a 30% today. Again, a lot of this will just be kind of garden variety stuff, but maybe a little bit of wind in there just because we're so hot today. Here's 6, here's 7 as we're starting a lot of our high school football games. This isn't exactly what the radar looks like, so don't see this and say, okay, Austin will be dry. But just to understand, most of our high school football games I think should be fine. But there will be some isolated showers and storms into the evening. So here's 8, 9, and then most of the overnight is going to be quiet. But as we go into Saturday, we're going to continue with rain chances. And Saturday's rain chance is going to be not for the morning, but for the afternoon into the evening. So if you're doing well, maybe a few showers around, that's 11 a.m., but mainly dry the first half of the day. But here's 3, 4, 5. So this is that front itself trying to work into our area. And as it does so, showers and storms will develop along it and to the north. So pockets of heavy rain, even a possibility, Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. And then this is the last frame, Sunday 1 a.m. of this model, but I expect more rain around through the day on Sunday. So this frontal boundary, let me show you the NWS short range forecast. It's to our north through most of today. And then it kind of gets down to us tomorrow on Saturday and fizzles and loses steam. So as we've been talking about, this is not going to be, I'll let you see the times up here. This is not going to be the first big front that drops us into the 30s and 40s. It won't be like that. But I am still hopeful that at some point we can get our highs to drop into the upper 90s to, the upper 80s to low 90s. So real quick, let's go over to the model blend and then we'll go into some of the more detailed models. The model blend has upper 90s, lower triple digits today. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be triple digits. Saturday, I still think is kind of like the battleground day. We'll probably still end up in the mid 90s. But then Sunday, Monday, model blend's got upper 80s, low 90s, and I think that kind of tracks with what we have in the forecast. Then we'll warm up a little bit more Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But even these numbers would still be, like a degree or two cooler than average for this time of the year. Then I actually think there's a possibility of another little push of cool air as we go into next weekend, so you can see the highs start to drop down a little bit again. Okay, so let's go back to the models here, and I want to show you the NAM model. As we've talked about, this NAM model tends to handle these shallow cold air masses well. So this afternoon, it's picking up on what I'm picking up on, this compressional warming ahead of the front, so lower triple digits. Then as we go into Saturday, battleground day, this model still has us at 97. Again, if I had to make a forecast for Saturday, and based on the forecast I made yesterday, I would say 95, 96. And then this is where things get interesting again. This model still says Sunday. We're still trying to get this thing through here. It has us in the low 90s for Sunday afternoon. I think that while this model does handle the shallow cold air well, it doesn't always handle the precipitation well. And especially if we get a decent cluster of storms that develop Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, I think that should be enough to kick the front through. So if we get rain like that, I think Sunday would more likely be upper 80s, low 90s rather than low to mid 90s. But I think either way, you're noticing I'm arguing over 90s versus 80s. Again, this is not going to be the first big one, but it is going to drop us down cooler than average. Here's the European model. We're kind of on the edge, especially Sunday, Monday, where we don't have all the high-res data. So today we'll have our hit or miss storms. Then as we go into Saturday, this 6Z run has actually backed off on that Saturday rain chance a little bit. But again, I'm expecting like a 40 to 50% rain coverage Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. And then Sunday, this is kind of out of range of some of our high-res data, but again, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, I expect some more showers and downpours, especially over the hill country, and then even into Labor Day. Now this Euro model's upping the rain chance for Labor Day. Yesterday, we were thinking like a 30% rain chance, but if things keep trending like this, then maybe it's a wetter forecast as we go into Labor Day. Let's see what the rainfall totals look like off of this model. Again, just one model run. It won't look exactly like this, but it's showing that potential for some pockets of heavier rain that could drop a quick 1 to 3 inches or so of rainfall. So with that, I also have some flood outlooks that I want to show you. Here's the day 1 excessive rain outlook. So this is through the rest of the day today, Friday night. Level 2 over parts of the Texas Panhandle, level 2 into far east Texas, and we have a level 1 today. So while it's hit or miss, I still can't rule out some wind and low end flooding today. I think it's a higher flood concern for Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, though. Level 2 for a larger part of West Texas and the Texas Panhandle, and that goes down very close to like our northwestern hill country counties. Here's the day 3, so this would be Sunday and Sunday night, level 1. And then even into Labor Day, that front's still kind of hanging out. We have a level 1 over much of our area, but you can see it kind of shifts, the threat shifts south with the front. Here are the rainfall totals for the Weather Prediction Center. These have actually trended higher. You can see it's got like 1 to 2 inches, pretty widespread, and I think that's probably overdone. I think it's going to be more hit or miss than that, but it's showing that potential, as I mentioned, for some pockets of flooding. So as we go into the holiday weekend, we've just been telling folks, I get it, you don't want to just be sitting here watching nerdy YouTube videos about the weather forecast, but just make sure you're plugged in and you've got a reliable way to get your alerts, especially if you're going to be out on the water or you're going to be camping or someplace where you're just not paying attention to things. Make sure you have a reliable way to get alerts if we have flooding or if we have any severe weather. Going into the extended forecast, here's the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, still favoring our area with slightly above average precipitation, and this is now September 3rd through September 7th. And look at this, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. As I mentioned, as we go into late next week into next weekend, I think maybe some cooler air could be reloading again, and we'll try to cool things down again. But that is bringing slightly below moderate, decent likelihood of below average temperatures for that September 3rd to September 7th timeframe. Tropics are very quiet in the Gulf and the Caribbean. We still have this one area that we're watching in the main development region. That's now up to a 30% chance of development, but that thing is still pretty far away. And as we quickly approach the climatological peak of the hurricane season, it's pretty remarkably quiet out there. Again, we'll still have to watch things through September. Just because we get a couple weeks where it's quiet does not mean the season's over. But right now, nothing too crazy out there. All right, so some of the longer range data off the European. For the next couple days, this looks all right to me. Again, upper 90s, lower triple digits today, probably mid 90s Saturday. Then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're starting to get a little influence from that front, upper 80s, low 90s. And then we'll see if by the end of next week, we can start to cool things down again. Here's the GFS model, for what it's worth. It's finally picked up a little bit on this Sunday, Monday cool down. We'll see. Those numbers look a little bit too warm for me. So I think this national model blend's got generally more of the right idea. We'll be in the lower triple digits today. Battleground day on Saturday, mid 90s. Hopefully some upper 80s, low 90s Sunday and Monday. We'll rebound around the middle of next week, and then another front, or at least another push of cooler air, should drop us back into the upper 80s, low 90s as we go Friday into next weekend. All right, so that's what I have for you. Appreciate everybody tuning in on this Friday Morning, hopefully you have a great weekend. Again, it won't be raining constantly all through the Labor Day weekend, but we're going to have a rain chance, and it's going to be a little cooler, and there's going to be some risk, mainly low end, but some risk for flooding and some risk for low end severe weather. So just make sure you've got your way to get alerts and stay plugged into the forecast through this weekend. I'll talk to you all later.